Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me today. I know it's been a few months since I have filmed a video, but we were in the process of buying a house and we were kind of living in a hotel for a little bit until we can close on our house. And so in the meantime, I had no plants. And so that is what I'm going to show you guys today. The plants that made it through the move and the plants that did not make it through the move. And of course I can't show you all the plants because we would be here for hours. But I just picked a few plants to show you, and I still don't have all my plants from my mom and dad's house to my house yet. I still have to go get the rest of them, but I do have most of them here. So I am going to start showing you guys. I think I'm going to show you the plants that made it through the move first, and then at the end of the video I will show you some of the plants that did not make it. So I just want to thank everybody so much for sticking with me, and I want to thank all my new subscribers for joining us. We talk about just a lot of plant things here, and we do plant shopping when we can, and just repotting and stuff like that. So I'm going to start by showing you guys a plant. So let me just start by telling you, I moved all my plants to my mom and dad's house, and they only live like maybe 10 minutes from my old house. So I took them all over there, and my Monstera got burned leaves just from the 10-minute car ride over there. The sun was coming in through the window and it burned some of the leaves, but I'm not going to show you that plant. I'll insert some footage of that plant because it's just too heavy for me to carry downstairs. But so the plants were at my mom and dad's house, and they were all in one room, and I'll show you a picture of the room that they were in. And this isn't even all of them, this is just some of them in this room. And then I put them, some other ones in another one of their rooms. But my dad would go in there every day and open up the window to let them have sunlight. But their house is a north-facing window. So the room that they were in is north-facing. It didn't get, tons of sun. And I couldn't make it over there as much as I wanted to because I still had to work full-time through this whole moving process and everything like that. So the first plant I'm going to show you is this Aglaonema, and this plant did awesome. So I don't know if it really liked, so all these plants were just shoved together in one room. So I don't know if it liked all the humidity that was coming from, all the plants. But it did really well, and it has, new growth there in the top, coming out of the top. It does have some flowers coming up, and it does even have a new little stalk coming up here. So if we want to talk about plants that thrive or can live through neglect, I would highly recommend a Aglaonema or Chinese evergreen, because this plant did awesome through this move. So that is the first one here, and it's also a beautiful plant. So I would highly recommend this one if you don't have a lot of time to take care of plants. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is my Neon Pothos. And this plant, you guys, is just an awesome plant. When I got it from my mom and dad's house, it was a little bit, wilted, and as soon as I gave it some water, it perked right back up. And it is just, this is one of my favorite plants. I bought it last year at Walmart, and it has given me no problems, and it grows a lot. I have trimmed it a couple of times, and it just keeps on growing. So this is also, pothos, of course, are plants that can, live off neglect. So this is another plant that I would highly recommend if you don't have a lot of time for plants. It is a plant that I would highly recommend. But that is my neon pothos that made it through the move. Okay, so another plant similar to the plant that I showed you, the aglaonema, that made it through the move, is another Chinese evergreen or aglaonema. So this is a little bit different. It has a wider leaf. But once again, this plant totally thrived on the humidity and just being grouped together with other plants. It didn't show any signs of stress. I think it did have one yellow leaf at the bottom, but that's totally normal even when I had it in my house and I was monitoring it. But it has new growth, and it really loved being grouped together with all those plants. So now in my new house, I'm going to try to group all my aglaonemas together just so they can thrive off that humidity and just being with other plants. So this is another one that did really well at my mom and dad's through the move. Okay, so I know I only showed you 3 plants that did well, and there are some other plants that did pretty good through the move, but I'm going to show you some plants that did not do so great, and I'm really sad about these plants, and I guess I'm just going to have to go shopping and buy more. But the first one I'm going to show you, I'm going to see if you guys can identify what it is. This is the first one. If you identified it as a dead plant, you would be right. But I will show you the leaves and you can see if you can identify what plant this was. Okay, so this was my Homalomena. And I loved this plant. It is a very finicky plant though. I'm telling you, you have to keep your eye on this plant. I would have to water it probably twice a week, and you really had to pay attention to it. And of course, when I had it at my mom and dad's and I couldn't keep an eye on it and I couldn't water it as much as I needed to, this is what happened to it. And even all through that though, it did try to have a bloom. But this is what it looks like. I'm going to try to save it. I'm going to cut off all these yellow leaves, and I'm going to try to, but so far this plant is not doing so great, and sad. It's just sad. Okay, so now talking about sad plants, you guys, this plant I am so sad about. And I will show you, let me show you the plant. Let's see if you guys can identify it. This plant was my goldfish plant. I love this plant, and this is another plant that you have to keep your eye on. If you give it water and light, it does awesome. It would bloom multiple times for me. It was really an awesome plant. But with being at my mom and dad's and I couldn't watch it, this is what happened. So I'm going to insert a picture here and I'll show you guys what it looked like before the move, and now this is what it looks like after the move. So hopefully I can find another one of these because this is one of my favorite plants ever. Okay, so the next plant is this Tetrasperma, and I mean for the most part it's okay. Let me see if I can get it in here. So it does have, you know, a few little new growths here, but at the bottom it just isn't doing okay. So I don't know if this is from underwatering it. I don't know if it's, I don't know what this is, but this is what it's looking like on the bottom. The leaves are looking kind of wilted and curled. I can just take these leaves off and the plant will be okay. But for right now, it's kind of looking sad, and I don't know, maybe I need to repot it. I do have another Tetrasperma that is doing a little bit better, but it's not doing so great either. But this one, I mean, but hopefully it will bounce back and it will start growing again, and I'll have a healthy plant. But this is what it looks like for now. And super sad. Last plant I'm going to show you is my baby. I love this plant. And it is, let me see if I can show you the whole thing. So this is my variegated arrowhead. And it's just so droopy. It used to, you know, stand up, and it used to be growing so beautiful. But now it's really droopy and sad. It does have the solid green leaves up here that are growing okay. And it also has a new leaf that's coming out. But for the most part, it's just real droopy and sad. So I was kind of upset about this plant, hoping that I can save it. But this is what it looks like now. And it's just real droopy on the bottom. So super sad. But hopefully, like I said, I can nurse it back to health and get it to grow. Just keep an eye on it and just hope, fingers crossed, that this plant can come back to life, because this is one of my favorite plants of all time. So there's that one. Okay, you guys, so those were some of my plants that made it through the move, and those were some of my plants that didn't do so great in the move. I just wanted to show you guys really quick how my plants did through this move and how hard it is to move plants from one house to another, especially when you don't have a smooth transition. Like I said, we were in a hotel for a little bit, and I couldn't bring my plants with me. But I don't want to end this video on a sad note, so I'm going to show you guys a plant that I recently purchased. Of course, when you buy a house, you have to go and do a whole bunch of stuff to the house. So we were at Lowe's, and I found this plant, so I want to show you guys real quick. And it is this variegated Aralia. And I've never seen this plant before, but I walked into Lowe's and I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this plant is awesome. I have to have it. And I've only had it for a few days, but it's doing pretty well so far. I do have it sitting in my south-facing window. It doesn't get too much light though, because there is a screen on the window, but it gets enough light. So that's where this plant is gonna sit for the time being. We are currently redoing our floors because the people that we purchased our house from had dogs, and they weren't very responsible with their dogs, and their dogs urinated all over every single carpet in this entire house. So we ripped out all the carpet. We're currently getting new floors put in, and we're almost done. So as soon as those are put in, I'm going to show you guys where I plan on putting plants. There's some really cool areas upstairs that I can put plants, so I want to take you guys and show you around and just show you where my plants are going to go. And then, of course, give you a tour of all my plants once they're set up. Also down here, I will probably have a few plants, but probably not too many. But I will show you that when it's all done. I'm going to insert a quick clip of just a really cool area that I can't wait to put plants. And now that we own this house, I can put shelves and I can hang plants and do all that kind of stuff that I've been waiting to do. But I'm just so grateful for all of you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me, like I said. And I can't wait to show you guys where I put all of my plants. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, guys,